But when I opened my eyes, I realized I was alive, and I tried to unbuckle myself from the seat and escape from where I could.
मैं निकल गया वहाँ से।
It was in front of my eyes that the air hostess and others died.
Details on that upside-down Delta crash at Toronto's airport last month. Canadian authorities say a landing...
Alright folks, buckle up and enable airplane mode, because we're flying into the thrilling, slightly neurotic, and utterly fascinating world of airplane seat safety. Forget legroom, we're talking survival rates. Be sure to watch all the way to the end so you don't miss any important details. So, let's start the great aeronautical seat debate. For decades, the question has plagued frequent flyers and nervous newbies alike. Where is the safest seat on an airplane? Is it the front, where you can practically high-five the pilot? The middle, nestled amongst the wings? Or the back, where you can pretend you're in a rock star's tour bus just with more turbulence? This question of the safest seat on an airplane has been a source of endless anxiety for travelers. While aviation remains statistically one of the safest forms of transportation, the recent highlighted aviation accidents and the what-if scenarios continue to fuel debates in airport lounges and online forums. So, why not start the debate with the statistical shenanigans broken down by each section of the plane? Many studies, including analyses of historical crash data, suggest that passengers in the rear of the aircraft have a statistically higher chance of survival. One of the most frequently cited studies, conducted by Popular Mechanics in 2007, examined data from National Transportation Safety Board crash reports. They found that passengers in the rear of the aircraft had a 40% higher survival rate than those in the front. This was largely attributed to the fact that the tail section tends to remain more intact during certain types of impacts. However, these early studies were limited by relatively small sample sizes and the variability of crash scenarios. Many other studies point to the middle seats, particularly those near the wings, as being the safest. For example, Professor Ed Galea from the University of Greenwich conducted extensive simulations of aircraft crashes and evacuations and concluded that seats near the wings, where the aircraft's structure is reinforced, offer a higher degree of protection. A 2015 Time magazine study, which analyzed decades of plane crash data, found that middle seats in the rear of the aircraft had the lowest fatality rate. This is logical because the middle seat has a distinct safety advantage due to the buffer effect, where passengers on either side provide added protection during impact. And, the wings being a critical structural component, are designed to withstand significant stress. Therefore, seats located near them benefit from this inherent strength. Well, logic aside, this is a surprising revelation because, typically, the middle seat is regarded as the Bermuda Triangle of airplane seating. A place where elbows vanish, personal space is a distant memory, and the only consolation is that you're equally disliked by both window and aisle passengers. It's the perfect environment for a social experiment. How long can a human survive on the forced pleasantries of strangers? Some scientists speculate that the middle seat is a training ground for future diplomats, teaching them the delicate art of negotiation and compromise in the face of extreme discomfort. Then we have the front of the plane. While offering speedy disembarkation, the illusion of control, and the experience of high-class luxury in first class, surprisingly, it is generally considered less safe than all other sections. This is because it's the first point of impact in many crashes. An unfortunate example of this is Air France Flight 296, which crashed during a demonstration flight at the Mulhouse-Habsheim Airport in France. The flight was intended to showcase the capabilities of the new Airbus A320 to potential customers. During the flight, the aircraft performed a low-altitude flyover, and it failed to clear the trees at the end of the runway. The plane's nose struck the trees first, leading to the crash. The first-class section, which was at the front of the aircraft, was among the areas most affected by the impact. Tragically, the crash resulted in the deaths of 3 people, and several others were injured. The fact that the front of the aircraft was the first point of impact contributed to the severity of the crash for those seated in the first-class area. Before we reveal what we consider the safest area on an airplane, let's briefly discuss some recent advancements in the airspace and how this can impact seat choice. In recent years, the field of aviation safety has been revolutionized by the application of advanced computational techniques. Researchers like Dr. R. John Hansman, a professor of aeronautics and astronautics at MIT, are using sophisticated AI algorithms to simulate crash scenarios with unprecedented accuracy. Hansman's team, in collaboration with the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has developed predictive models that can analyze thousands of potential crash scenarios, factoring in variables such as aircraft type and design, weather conditions, wind, turbulence, etc., impact angle and velocity, cabin layout and seat configuration. This allows for a better understanding of seat safety, as well as the ability to calculate the safest seats on specific flights based on predicted weather conditions. Imagine being able to input the specific flight details into an app and have the app give you a personalized seat safety rating. Yeah, we are talking about this type of technology being developed. Okay, so statistical analytics and computations aside, it is essential to acknowledge the psychological dimension of seat safety. Research reveals a strong relationship between seat location and passenger anxiety, since passengers who felt more comfortable with their seat assignment experienced lower levels of stress during turbulence and other in-flight events. For instance, passengers who preferred window seats reported a reduced feeling of claustrophobia, whereas passengers who favored aisle seats appreciated the ease of access to the toilet. So, in a nutshell, we can assume that emotional comfort can play a significant role in passenger well-being during air travel. This brings us to the aisle versus window debate, which is like an existential crisis for frequent flyers. To aisle or not to aisle? That is the most frequently researched and inquired question. Window seats offer the illusion of control, the ability to judge cloud formations, and the smug satisfaction of having a personal wall. Aisle seats, on the other hand, provide freedom of movement, the chance to stretch your legs into the path of the beverage cart usually. Now, let's check out the snack proximity factor. A more lighthearted but still relevant observation comes from a group of researchers at the University of Gastronomic Sciences in Italy. They examined the correlation between snack availability and passenger stress levels during turbulence, and identified that passengers who had easy access to snacks experienced a significant reduction in heart rate and anxiety during periods of turbulence. So, theoretically, the act of eating and the availability of comfort foods can trigger the release of endorphins, which have a calming effect. Alright, so we've explored the cold hard data, the AI-powered predictions, and even the psychological impact of snack proximity. So, which is the safest seat on an airplane? Based on all of the data, we've concluded that the safest seat on an airplane is generally located in the middle section near the wings. But let's be honest, for most of us, choosing a seat is less about surviving a fiery crash, and more about avoiding a mid-flight armrest war with a snoring stranger. So, there shouldn't be any debate over safer seats. What's more important to remember is that air travel is statistically very safe. The odds of being involved in a fatal plane crash are extremely low. Even within the safest section, survival rates are not guaranteed because many factors contribute to individual outcomes. So, ultimately, the safest seat on an airplane is the one that allows you to remain calm and focused. That's why, rather than fixating on the safest seat, you should focus on following safety instructions, wearing seatbelts, and being aware of your surroundings. It's a good idea to practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing exercises and mindfulness meditation to stay calm no matter how troubling the situation may be. Also, you have to trust the professionals, including pilots and flight attendants, who are highly trained to ensure your safety. These practices can help prevent injuries during turbulence and unexpected landings. We hope you found this video informative. Please share your thoughts in the comments section, and if you have any tips that can help your fellow viewers, don't forget to comment or email them for a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. We choose winners who offer awesome anonymous tip topics every week. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Press the bell icon because you don't want to miss our life-changing tips. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.